We continue our conversations here on Good Morning Namibia, and we have an interesting guest right here with me. And now the SPCA's main mandate is to prevent cruelty to animals as an organization. The SPCA Windhoek is participating in a national SPCA adoption drive to find homes for the many deserving animals in their care across the country. Now joining us with me to discuss this and more is the National Director at the SPCA Namibia Windhoek, that is Hannah Rhodin, and as well as Bernie, also here on the carpet. Good morning, Bernie. Good morning to you, Hannah.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having us.
You're welcome. Now, please explain to us what this adoption program is all about.
Yeah, so we're doing a national adoption drive this Saturday. It's June 4th. A couple of our branches are doing it on June 25th. And what we want to do with this event is really highlight the importance of adoption. We have so many unwanted pets in Namibia, and across our 7 branches and our head office here in Windhoek, we will be hosting this event this month. So hopefully we'll find homes for a lot of the pets that we have in our care.
What is the impact that a drive such as this, what impact does it have on the animals?
So it's really just we're always looking to rehome animals and adopt these animals out. So throughout the year, this is just an extra push, if you will, to really try and highlight the importance of adoptions and try and find as many homes as possible. We do have, in Windhoek and some of our branches, we have special rates for adoption. So hopefully enticing some people that wouldn't necessarily normally consider adoption to come as well.
When we look at it from a number perspective, how many pets does the SPCA currently have that needs adoption?
So we have just over 300, almost 350 animals currently looking for homes, and that's all over Namibia. So we have branches obviously in Windhoek, then we have in Oshana, Otjiwarongo, Tsumeb, Grootfontein, Walvis Bay, Lüderitz, and Keetmans.
And which kind of animals are we talking about? And that also reminds me that I didn't introduce the ones in here. So what do we have in here?
We have a few kittens here.
All right.
They're currently in foster care. Can I take them
Yes,
now?
you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are currently in foster care. They're not quite old enough yet to be adopted. But they are very, very sweet cats, and they're a perfect example of the many animals that we get in. And in particular, kittens, we all have an increased influx of cats at the moment. So these ones are little ambassadors for the ones that are available for adoption.
All right. They look so adorable. So is it just dogs and cats that you have there?
Most of our branches, it's cats and dogs, but in Windhoek, we do also have rabbits and guinea pigs currently available for adoption.
All right.
Yeah.
So you said that you have an influx of cats at the SPCA. Why is that the case?
So there's a lot of free roaming cats, whether they're owned or stray. So that means feral. There's no legal owner of the animals, and they reproduce at a very high rate. So over 6 years, I think it's something. You'll have to fact check me on this, but I think it's something that 2 unsterilized cats can produce 60,000 offsprings.
Shoot,
So it's a high volume of animals that can reproduce if we don't sterilize them. So that's why all of our branches, we don't give out animals unless they're sterilized to try and break the cycle of animal overpopulation.
Help us understand, apart from those that go astray or that are stray, where does the shelter find the animals that they have in its custody at the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have about 50% of the animals coming in are stray animals, and the other half are normally surrenders. We do have some animals that we confiscate as well. Is a part of our animal cruelty mitigation efforts. But the ones that are surrendered, they come from various circumstances. Sometimes it's because the owners can't afford veterinary care. Sometimes it's because, their life situation has changed. Maybe they lost their jobs. Maybe they have to move to an apartment where they're not allowed to keep pets. And sometimes it's behavioral things where, it was they wanted to adopt a puppy, and the dog is now displaying behaviors that they never anticipated or they don't know quite how to handle. So we are there for private individuals if they do need assistance, that we can help with saying, you know, here are some trainers, and if there are behavior issues that we can assist with, then we will. To give advice and guidance.
I want to get, I'm very curious about the cats, particularly as you've mentioned that they are not ready for adoption yet.
Yeah.
Why is that the case?
Yeah, so these cats came in when they were about 4 or 5 weeks old. We always make sure that the cats have vaccinations up to date, so that's normally at least 2 doses. And this varies slightly from branch to branch depending on the setup and also how many cats they take in. So because we take in, you know, over 2,000 cats a year, we have a very aggressive vaccination protocol. We want to make sure that they're healthy as well before they go out. Yeah.
And things like vaccination and food for the animals are not cheap. So how does the SPCA come up with the funds to feed and just care for these animals?
That's a great question. It's primarily donations from private individual and corporate sponsors, and they're really the lifeline to making sure that we can be there for the animals in our community. We do also generate some funds from, you know, the adoption fees, stray fees, boarding. So that's if someone is traveling, then they can reach out to the SPCA and make a booking. We do have some requirements for that, but that's another way. And then we do fundraising efforts.
He's excited. He or she is very excited.
That's the kitten purring, not me.
Yes. All right. So sometimes they are too young for adoption, like the kittens we have right now. Are they also either too old for adoption at times?
We are actually placing a. Let me just put this one away. I can take the next one out. So this is Susie.
Oh, Susie. That's a beautiful name. Yes. Can they be too old for adoption?
Sometimes, yes, and sometimes they are senior, what we call senior pets, but they still have some spunk in them. They're still healthy. And in those cases, we do want to make them available for adoption and try and find new homes for them. So senior pets are actually very easy pets because they've gone through the puppy stages of chewing everything. They're normally house trained and normally quite well adjusted. They don't require as much exercise. They still like to go for a walk, etc. But they are a little bit less intense, let me put it that way. But then, you know, a dog can live up to 15 years, a cat can live up to 20. So when we talk about older or senior, you know, we're looking at 7+, sometimes even 10+, depending on sometimes the breed, what size they are, etc.
We're getting towards the end of our conversation, but I wish I could talk about these animals the whole day. Take us through the adoption process.
Yes. So if you're interested in adopting an animal from the SPCA, so what we do first is we talk to you about your lifestyle. Obviously, if you're coming for a cat or a dog, we'll ask certain questions. With cats, the cats tend to choose you, whereas dogs are a little bit more particular in terms of making a good match. And we really put a lot of emphasis on making the right match for you and your family. Because obviously if you're a couch potato, then you probably want a couch potato dog that's going to be relaxing with you in your living room and not bother you to want to go out for, you know, runs every single day. If you're very active, then an active dog will probably suit you better.
Okay.
So we talk about a few things like that, and also making sure that, you know, if you have children, that the dog or the cat likes children as well, because that's incredibly important. If you have another dog, we do a dog meet. But yeah, so once you found a good match, then you go ahead and fill out an adoption application. We do a house check, we do a vet check, and then we do meet and greets with you and your family members and the pet in particular, or the pet in question. And if everything is good to go, then the animal goes home sterilized. Vaccinations up to date, dewormed, so they're given deparasitical treatment. And yeah, that can take anything from a day to 7 days, depending on.
Okay, it's not so long.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, it's a big decision. So 1 or 7 days is not a big commitment in comparison to what you're really taking on. So for the adoption event that we have this Saturday, we actually have 50% reduced adoption fees on all of our animals, but it's for 1 day only.
All right.
And then in Windhoek, we have extended adoption hours as well. So we'll be open from 9 till 1 and then from 3 to 5.
Am I allowed to hold
Absolutely.
Susie?
Would you like to?
So what do you mean by the cat chooses the owner? Hi,
So a lot, it obviously varies from SPCA to SPCA, different setups. But here in Windhoek, we have what we call cat rehoming enclosures. So the cats are free roaming within that space. And you tend to take a seat and the cats either come to you, or if there's someone that, grabs your attention. Some people really like shy cats, some like very cuddly cats.
Okay.
Let me know if you need assistance.
I think I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, I think I'm
Okay.
good. All right. So we've now come to the end of our conversation. Oh, Susie.
Yeah.
Okay, we're closing. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
All right. From myself, Susie, Hannah, Bernie, and the other kittens, we will be back with the next interview shortly. Stay tuned. Oh, so cute. Oh my gosh, she's so